Many thanks for joining us. I am Rita Omodia. And now we begin with the story here as the race to the 2019 general election gathers momentum. Nigerian youths have been tipped to take over the helms of affairs and the nation's polity. Former Minister Senator Musiliu Banikoro and the renowned Lagos clergy Bishop Michael Okonkwo said this on the sidelines of the Kingdom Life World Conference. The clergy who expressed hope in the ability of the next generation says youths in Nigeria and in the diaspora have positioned themselves strategically to lead the country. In support, Senator Banikoro says it is time that the current crop of leaders gave way to the youths.
It's a powerful transition going on globally. The global events is showing that God wants a transition of power, not just in the sacred, but even the secular, because of the deposit he has put in the young people. It is time for those deposits to find expression. After that, I believe that our nation will be better off. If you notice that this is the first time ever that every Nigerian is upset about the happenings and events in the country. But all the same, it's a good development. I believe it's a good development in the sense that now everyone is being forced to come to the table to find out the way forward for the country. And I've said it in different fora. Anyone who thinks they need to talk about the affairs of this country and look at where we have been coming from, where we are and where we are going, it's not necessary, then it's an enemy of the country.
That the youth of Nigeria are going to take over the leadership of this country, and I will pray on that so that God can elevate them, because they are the future. They are a higher stakeholder in this thing. I'm 57 years old. Those in their 20s and their 30s, we pray. It is our prayer and wish that they live longer than us.
The clergy condemned the situation where the same set of leaders have been recycled over the years and added that the nation has to do things differently if it seeks to achieve its desired change.
The truth to be told, the elderly people don't have the vision of today. The knowledge has increased, knowledge has shifted, and understanding and insight and creativity is in the hands of the young people. So it's not about, I will hold on. You can't stop the hand of God. The most you can do is like a current moving, and you say you want to stop the current. It's either you flow with it or the current will finish you. So that's the way I know it.
And now leaders of the People's Democratic Party in the Southwest have continued to re-strategize towards presenting a common voice ahead of the December National Convention of the party. The party leaders who met in Ibadan as part of this strategy for the convention agreed that for the region to achieve the goal of presenting the party's national chairman, all hands must be on deck to mend all collapsed fences in the party. The Southwest chairman of the party, Eddie Olafeso, who spoke to journalists, disclosed that the party in the region will leave no stone unturned in order to produce the national chairman.
Not only within the party, but to ensure that the rest of the country understands the position of our party when it comes to preparing ourselves, not only for our national convention coming up on December 9th and 10th of 2017.
He noted that party leaders in the region are currently reaching out to stakeholders from other regions, soliciting their support, not minding the fact that the slot has been zoned to the Southwest.
In a party that has 6 zones, we can only persuade and play with those people to see reasons. And that is what the leadership has been doing. We still believe that they will see reason that the Southwest will produce the chairman of the party.
Other leaders who spoke at the meeting called for commitment and unity of purpose for the region to succeed even beyond the national convention.
Realistic statements to let the whole world know that we are being cheated. This will influence the electorate. That will need a lot of mounting a good campaign strategy.
Correspondent Kule Joel reports that the national convention of the party is scheduled to take place December 9, 2017. And away from that, an overnight heavy downpour has led to the flooding of houses, schools and churches at Araya community in Nugeli North local government area of Delta State. The flood, which led to residents vacating their homes as a result of the water level, led to the cancellation of church service, except a flooded church believed to be the site where a miracle Bible was said to have dropped from the sky decades ago. Church members at the Bible-side church did not allow the water level to stand as an impediment as they kept on singing and praying until the guest pastor called for government intervention.
The Lord sent me here for a purpose, and I'm asking God intervention on what I see on the side. That God should bring blessing upon the side. Because standing on the water is not too much good for the human health. So therefore, we also commend the government, the people who are the top officials, should also look onto this and consider it.
Speaking for the submerged community, the chairman calls for relief materials as residents have since vacated their homes.
It's a water disaster that we're asking federal government, state government, NEMA, and to come to our aid. The problem here is enormous. It's a challenge. We need materials.
Meanwhile, the flooded community, which serves as an access road to Warri South local government, needs urgent assistance by the Delta State government as the Bible site is regarded as a tourist center. And now moving on to Lagos, the state government says plans have been concluded to stage this year's edition of the Lagos Street Carnival scheduled to hold December 3 on Obakran Avenue in Ikeja. The special advisor to Lagos State Governor on Tourism, Arts and Culture, Adebimpe Akinshola, said the venue for Carnival would be shut down, but adequate preparations have been made for alternative routes to mitigate the impact of the road closure on motorists and residents. She said the Carnival is also designed to celebrate the multicultural nature of Lagosians and reposition the state as a formidable cultural destination. Speaking on security arrangements already put in place, Akinshola said several adjoining roads will be closed on the day of the Carnival, while alternative routes could be accessed by road users. She assured Lagosians and visitors that efforts are in place to ensure that the venue and environs are safe and incident-free. The Lagos Street Carnival is powered by the private sector to ensure that the event remains on Lagos' cultural calendar even with the succession of a new administration. And now to our next story here in Lagos, as the wife of the governor of Lagos State, Bolanle Ambode, at the weekend called for a total eradication of all forms of discrimination and violence against women and girls. She made the call in Lagos as part of activities to mark this year's International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. She said violence against women and girls remained one of the most widespread and devastating human rights violence in the world. According to her, prevention of violence against women and girls must begin early, stressing that children and young ones must learn the principles of equality, respect, and non-violence for future generations. She urged women and girls not to be silent in the face of brazen discrimination and abuse, but speak up boldly and report such cases to appropriate government agencies for immediate action. The governor's wife also urged enlightened women, gender-based NGOs, and other female sympathetic groups to continue to lead the campaign for total emancipation of all women in the line with this year's theme, Leave No One Behind, and violence against all women and girls. And now more stories coming after up this break. Do stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Galaxy TV News. For more updates and latest news, log on to our website, galaxytvonline.com, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/GalaxyTV Nigeria. You can also follow or interact with us via our Facebook page, facebook.com/GalaxyTV, or tweet at GalaxyTV. Don't forget to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at @OfficialGalaxyTV. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments. And now, still on the news, the regent of Abonema, Chief Lulu Briggs, escaped assassination attempts at his hometown in Abonema, Kukutori local government area of Rivers State. Lulu Briggs visited Abonema for a peace and reconciliation meeting between chiefs, opinion leaders, and elders of the area in respect of the crisis rocking the position of the chairman of Council of Chiefs of Abonema. Youths numbering over 200 gathered at the community palace immediately the convoy arrived and were hurling stones and other weapons on Lulu Briggs' team, as well as shooting. Now our correspondent converter Elisha has more on this report.
Speaking with journalists, chiefs who witnessed the incident, Charles, Membere and young Jack, described the attack as uncalled for. They continued that Lulu Briggs had visited Abonema in order to maintain peace, but was held by hundreds of youths who attacked his convoy and damaged several cars, including the bulletproof vehicle carrying the High Chief.
Obviously, we can see what happened today. Every car that was available there, they were looking for who to kill. They were not looking back. They were so desperate, I was shocked myself. Throwing a young man, I've never known him before. He was so wounded that his chest was cut open. Whether they used knife or bottle, I don't know. But it was bleeding. I don't think he will survive.
Like I said, it's highly despicable. It's an act of violence. An attempt to take the life of Chief Lulu Briggs and other founding stools members on that table. I cannot count the number of vehicles that were damaged, but all the cars on the entourage were all damaged.
Chiefs who witnessed the incident described it as uncalled for. They continued that Lulu Briggs had visited Abonema in order to maintain peace, but was held by hundreds of youth who attacked this convoy and damaged several cars, including the bulletproof vehicle carrying the High Chief. Lulu Briggs, who spoke through Chief Ibim Iyibo Young Briggs, said there was need for reconciliation of all the factions in the face-off, expressing regret over poor infrastructural development in the area.
Amayanabo of Abonema was a title given to the shaman in our cultural tradition. It does not necessarily denote or connote anything concerning kingship or majesty or whatever title or monarch, that our absolute monarch that has been arrogated to the current ruler of Abonema. You cannot be allowed to be used by people that are power hungry. Their desire is to bring a divide.
Recall that chairman of the council, Chief Distro Bobo Babano, was last week suspended from the position of Amayanabo of Abonema based on an allegation of witchcraft leveled against him, while Lulu Briggs was appointed in acting capacity to man the position till the controversies raised were resolved. Lulu Briggs, however, sued for peace in Abonema Kingdom, stating that violence and killings would not resolve the issues surrounding the position of the chairman of Abonema Council and development of the area.
And now reactions trail following the directive by the federal government to abolish the dichotomy between holders of university degrees and higher national diploma, which some of the federal agencies has failed to implement. Stakeholders in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital, has condemned the failure of the implementation and tasked appropriate bodies to call them to order. Converter Elisha gives us the details.
Speaking with Galaxy News, a human rights advocate, Barrister Araya King, condemned the refusal of some federal agencies, especially the Federal Road Safety Corps (FRSC), to fully implement the directive. Araya King expressed displeasure over the situation, saying that it is unfair to treat H&D holders in the Federal Road Safety Corps indiscriminately.
I am condemning it and condemning it more than condemn. Why would they behave that like that? What is special about road safety? Who do they think that they are? Army have implemented, Customs have implemented, other paramilitary organizations have implemented, and they are still saying that they won't implement.
A senior lecturer in the Department of Political Science at the Ignatius Ajuro University, Rivers State, Dr. Kenneth Nweke, called on relevant authorities to reevaluate the various certificates with a view to closing the gap that exists between HND and degree certificates.
And I also don't think that any particular federal agency would implement this and another agency would not implement this. It's not possible. I call for streamlining of this decision by all relevant agencies of government, including the states.
Meanwhile, the both wondered why HND holders in the Marshal cadre are being denied promotion to officer cadre, despite the fact that other sister agencies like the Customs Service and Immigration has since carried out the directive.
Let me ask all the road safety officers, even those that are discriminating against their friends, if you have opportunity to enter Army or enter Air Force or enter police, will you go for road safety? They won't go. That is the question.
If other agencies have started implementing, that means that the Federal Executive Council has not said anything contrary to that, and that means that anybody who is not towing that line or keeping to that directive is shooting itself in the legs.
Dr. Kenneth Nweke continued that the delay by some federal agencies to implement the directive could be due to administrative procedures, and however urged the Federal Safety Corps to ensure it speeds up the process of implementation.